I had been in and out of hospital for a while for it was drug addiction and various, and I was in rehab. I'd spend a few days on sofas, on friends' sofas or not friends' sofas, whoever, sort of have me for as long as I could get away, and then end back on in hospital or park benches or a few times, and I wasn't in contact with my parents, my father, really my father, my mother. She was just dead by this point, which I suppose was the trigger for the drugs, for the heroin and the other, but the all of it really, all of it. That was definitely the moment and so I suppose then I suppose the moment was I overdosed, and this guy found me, and because I left my door open. I leave my door open regularly, not consciously, but I suppose, well, my therapist says survival instinct or something kicked in somewhere, and it was something about timing, because wasn't the first time by any stretch of, but I suppose it was because I was ready at this particular time, and that was a good thing. I could turn it into a good thing, and and I mean, it was good timing, because I had abscesses. I had this abscess where I thought I might lose the leg. The pus sort of builds up, and I didn't give I didn't give a shit. You don't give you don't give a shit. My leg had swollen up to sort of twice, and this doctor whose face I can't, who put me on a drip and surgery, but all you can think is drain the fucker and let me get back out. I was injecting between the toes, in my shoulder, groin, and I wasn't really holding it together in any sort. Like, I couldn't fake it, couldn't hold down a job, or I just got fired from. I mean, there was no stability. I couldn't describe stability to you or identify from what your mother. It's opposite of stability. It's not. I didn't feel like I seek it, that I sought it, but I suppose there will always be the thought that if my mother couldn't, then I must be an almighty piece of shit. And because I suppose that is what happened, is the opposite of. But that's not what you're asking. Yeah. So, what I mean is, that I'm trying to explain is that how I ended up in rehab. I have a degree. This is not what I was there. I was in rehab, and that's directly connected to here. But because I met this guy, and this in there, and he told me he died, but he told me about here, and he used to talk about it was such peace, and I'm not really like that. I'm not really. I have a total aversion to that kind and I couldn't go back to my dad's. Things are we're getting too good, but he just before this the overdose, and he had picked me up from a train in a last ditch attempt, I think, and I was fucked. I was properly fucked, and he was driving, and I thought he was someone else, a dealer or just a bloke in a jacket that looked new, and I thought I could get something off this guy, and so I started hitting on him. I started hitting on my dad, because he's just become this vehicle for heroin, and and he. So when I heard about here, when he talked about the gardens and the hills and the greenhouse and the fields and the chickens and fruit trees, I sort of couldn't stop thinking about it, and I thought it might be right, and calm, and like when I was small, in a good way. Carol?